Hi, and welcome to this simple analysis of Telenor. So, what is Telenor? Well, Telenor is a telecom company. That means that they are dabbling with cell phone subscriptions, they're dabbling with a little bit of internet, and, well, I guess you can call it telecommunication in itself. They have high dividends, so if you as a dividend investor have some interest, you should know that they provide semi-annual dividends, and very often it is between 5 to 8% of the current valuation. They are based in Scandinavia and Asia, so they have like the two parts of it, right? They have the stableness of Scandinavia and the emerging markets in Asia. They are in an interesting position. They have had some mismanagements and bad investments, but currently the investments are looking more and more interesting, and I'm looking forward to see where it is going personally, at least. So how was 2022 for Telenor? Well, they did discontinue Digi. So basically Digi and Celcom have merged and is now Celcom Digi. They are now the leading telecom operator in Malaysia. Telenor currently have 33.1% ownership in the company, and they did get a little bit of a benefit from it, which we will look deeper into in the statement. Telenor have also gone a little bit more legacy-free, so basically in 2022 they focused a lot on working with their legacy. Basically what that means is that Telenor had a lot of internet connectivity, like copper wires from old times, you know, ADSL, that was hanging around that they needed to have maintenance on, and they have now used a lot of money taking it out, so it's not supposed to be in use, and cleaned it up after themselves. This will help with their cash flow and costs going forward. The electricity bill was kind of rough for Telenor, like almost all of their technology is based on electricity, but at the same time it seems like Telenor actually did a little bit better than expected, and 2023 seems to be doing even better with the electricity, so didn't impact as much as expected from what I've understood. But it should be mentioned that DNB is specifically taking out electricity as one of their key points in their analysis. They have had small growth. Well, depends on where you're looking. If you're looking in the statement, revenue, no growth. EBITDA, I think it's normally 0 to 1% growth. Their result this year was quite good looking, but they will not be able to do that next year. That was more or less a one-off, so yeah. When it comes to the fiber, they have sold about 30% of their fiber connectivity in Norway, and this have helped them realize some value in some of their investments, and also they will keep on getting money for dividend from the company, so it seems to be a good idea, and hopefully will create less costs when that is legacy as well. There have been an evaluation crash. As you can see, they have gone all the way from 150 more or less and down to 85 to 90. But at the same time, Telenor have been in a downward trend for a while. Now in 2023 that have changed. They have been able to create some evaluation, or well, I guess Q4 is where it really changed. Yeah, looking forward to go deeper in. So, to go into the nitty-gritty, their statement. I would say that it looks like they are in a downward trend. You can see that in 2014 they had 110,000 in revenue, and in 2022 they had 99,000 in revenue. Their EBIT have also gone down from 25,000 to 17,000, so I'm not too big of a fan. And their margin have also gone down together since 2014. So I would literally call this a struggling statement. You can see the results though, they have gone everywhere, like it's from 13,000 to 4,000 and 21 and even 47. This is basically the Q3, and if the Q4 was not so extraordinary, they would have ended up around 12,000-13,000. They have managed to increase their dividend though, so if you went in 2014, you would have gotten a decent dividend gain from it, even if the evaluation actually have fallen since 2014. So when it comes to the balance, you can see that they have managed to double their debt since 2014 to 2022 in short term, and close to this in long-term debt. This should be mentioned, these two are interest-bearing. So it's something to just consider, because they have had kind of negative revenue and still their interest-bearing debt is going up. So it's a little bit scary. They have also increased their liabilities quite consistently. And you can see as well, like the equity have more or less lowered with the exception of 2022. A lot of this can probably be accounted for towards goodwill, but still it is something to take into account. They have a lot of liabilities, and you can see, for example, like their debt to equity was at the worst 6.17. Yeah, and more or less it's doubled since 2014 to 2022, even if 2022 was an exceptional year. I'm not the biggest fan of this balance, to be honest. And when it comes to the cash flow, you can see that it is quite a low gain here. Well, it's gone from 34,000 to 39, so nothing to really brag about. It looks quite a lot better than the statement, of course. They also do have fairly decent dividend control. It doesn't take so much out of the cash flow, but the question is, can it handle it with the investments? Because they are quite high. Of course, going forward, it will not be as much needed to invest in a lot of 5G because it's already rolled out. So we might be looking for a little bit of time where the investments are going down. You can also notice that they also have high finance need here. They have started leasing more and more as well, which also provides with a need to actually have more money available for finances. So I do hope that Telenor will be able to continue increasing or improving their cash flow, because it will be difficult to keep up with the dividend if they are supposed to be or continue to be investment heavy, together with leases, the interests that are going to occur going forward. Yeah, we're looking at a few interesting years going forward. And here we comes to the comparison. How is Telenor going against Tele2 and Telia? Well, basically you can see that the margin is kind of in between. Their debt to equity is the highest, so they have more debt to equity than their enemies. It should be mentioned that in Telenor and Tele2 it is 2022 numbers, while Telia I base it on 2021 because they had a huge write-off, which Telenor have done the years before. When it comes to the current assets versus current liabilities, you can see that Telenor is the one who is struggling the most there. Basically, it indicates that the next year Telenor actually don't have enough assets to pay their current liabilities. So I'm not a big fan of it. They do, however, pay out the highest dividend. That is at least a good thing. They also have the lowest PE. Of course, here I have two different numbers. These are numbers with the merger, 3.52 PE, and here is without the merger that just happened. You can also see that the return on equity, Telenor is doing worse than Telia, but when it comes to the average, like historical average return on equity, Telenor is actually doing better than both of them. When I'm calculating the average return on equity, I have done it from 2014 to 2021, so 2022 is not added in, just so that is mentioned. So in general, I would say that if Telenor is able to get a little bit more out of their emerging markets, I think that Telenor is looking okay. They are giving out good dividends, and their return on equity is obviously higher than their competitors historically, but they are also willing to take more risks with the amount of debt and debt that they're holding. And when it comes to the downsides, you can see that they are struggling a little bit in the home market. I'm talking now more or less about Norway, where it is kind of an aging customer base. It is also experiencing a lot more competition, and they're not really that cheap anymore. Telenor is one of those more expensive companies, at least in Norway, and these expensive products and the more aware customer base that is now, like the younger generation, we have a lot of areas where we can verify the prices. It makes it more difficult for them to, well, keep you as a customer. And also the current economic situation where food is more expensive, if electricity is more expensive, and all of these kind of items just add up. It is competitors with half the price almost. So it creates a little bit of pressure on Telenor. So their revenues are going down. If you remember this, when we go through the statement, you could see that it has gone down quite a lot actually since 2014. And this is of course not a good sign. Results are the same, or as long as the results are increasing, it's not that bad, but still, it's not a good trend. So they need to fight harder and harder and harder to be able to keep the income they have. The debt is going up, which also increases the interest. It creates more focus on what they're able to do in the cash flow, and they need to hopefully start focusing on paying it back soon. They also have a few mismanaged investments. So yeah, just look at what happened in Myanmar. Of course, this couldn't be known, but investments done in emerging markets have risk to them. They lost Myanmar, and now even Pakistan is showing a negative trend, both currency effects and also political effects, and their operating profit is going down. this is something that I feel like need to mention. Like, it has been some controversial situations with the leadership. So Brekke, like the CEO, he had some drama with the CV. It is mentioned that it might be fake. And yeah, it has been a lot in the media. It gives a lot of insecurities when it comes to the leadership. The fact that they keep him. Honestly, I don't know if it is true or false. I just know that it is a lot of information in regards of this. If you as an investor focusing on leadership as a good thing, Telenor have some drama in that area. And when it comes to the benefits, you can see that they are giving high dividends. It is a good thing. They provide good dividends in general. I would say that in some ways, Telenor might be similar to bonds, basically like interest papers. It provides a lot of dividends, and it also provides low growth. At least it's the only company that I have actually fallen more in value that I have for now taken a look at. The only thing that you should be aware of is the taxes that are to be found on dividends compared to, for example, interest. They are a well-known brand, at least in Norway, in their home country. They're known for their good quality that you're able to call everywhere. So Norway is a country with a lot of mountains, and well, if you're a new phone provider, it is very difficult to set up, and Telenor have used a lot of time doing that. So in general, good products at least. Their cash flow is also fairly strong. At least you can say that it's a lot better than the statement. It's able to maintain the good dividends or the high dividends, and it has increased since 2014. So they are maintaining a steady cash flow. The analysts are positive to the stock. It increases the chance that it is good things in the stock that, for example, I might not see. And in a lot of the papers it's written about them, you can see that they are close to the bottom, or they were earlier. It is some positive trend or some positive views on this stock. And I remember just a few years ago, you could read that it is expected that Telenor should be valued at over 180 kroners, while they fell quite a lot lower than that. So it is underlying values in this stock that is of interest, obviously. Their EBITDA is above consensus, so they have shown better growth than a lot of these analytics have looked for, though it seems to have disappointed the market in some form, but at least they have been above consensus, so they are doing well in that area. And then it comes to the emerging markets. It's like they have a lot of possibilities here outside of the regular market in the Nordics. They have a very high market share in several areas, and it provides possibilities. And if you're the main market guy, like if you're on the top, of course you will be able to take a little bit more money for your products. Also, the emerging markets that they have provides better diversification. You can argue a little bit that this might also be a negative trend because the currency in Pakistan is quite weak, and currency in some of the other countries might also be struggling a little bit, but in general it provides diversification, which is always a good thing. You're not just landlocked to one country, one small area, you're spread out. So, where is Telenor going forward? Well, when it comes to investments, I would say that they have some areas to improve. There is some areas that actually are in a positive trend, for example, Sweden and Denmark. Finland have more or less stagnated a little bit. It's not have too much of an improvement or decrease, while the rest have actually had a decrease in trend. I would like to mention that when it comes to their mergers, this is one of the most interesting parts. If they are able to consolidate some of these companies that they have in Asia, this will provide a little bit more of leeway on Telenor. For example, when it comes to Telecom Digi, it is expected that they will receive dividend from them from 2024. It is also to be mentioned that it is expected that dtac and True should be merging together in Thailand. Both of these companies will then be the number one in their country, so have the top position. This will help a lot. It removes a lot of competition for them, and it also creates a lot of possibility when it comes to synergies. And when it came to the CMD strategy that was mentioned, it is focused on leading Nordic telco. So it is hopeful to get like single mid-digit growth in the longer term, improve on their Asian focus. So basically pick a little bit more up from synergies and cash flow. They also are looking to crystallize values in the Nordic infrastructure. They have actually even started with this when it comes to the fiber, and they have sold 30% of it. And also when it comes to the adjacent businesses, where they are looking to develop and divest within their portfolio, improve their leading position in Nordic tech, Nordic security in IoT, and also perhaps unlock some values that they have under there with a few partnerships. So now I will do something new, and I will say, for me, the fair value is at 85. I put this fair value fairly low because for me, Telenor have a lot of things they need to prove. A statement that is going down is not a good trend, and I really struggle with that. Also, the fact that they have increased that amount of debt during those years while decreasing revenue, it scares me. I could even put the fair value a little bit lower, but I do have faith in certain areas of Telenor. For example, I do believe that they have a good setup when it comes to providing more values in Asia, and if they're able to do that, this fair value might be way lower than it should be. The thing is, for me, they just actually need to prove that for me to add a higher level. I would also like to mention that DNB has set a target price at 150 Norwegian kroners, so I'm a lot more negative than them, obviously, but I just need to see what is going on in the next few statements. For example, will the investments go down now that the 5G have been set up? Will they start paying down their loans so the interest might not be rocking the boat so much, and they will have more control over the dividends that they will have to pay, they would want to pay you as an investor going forward? And what is going on with the revenue? Will they be able to improve it? Where will they find themselves going forward? So for me, Telenor is the most insecure company I've looked at, and it has not gone through my check several times. So yeah, that is why I put that fair value. Other than that, here is a disclaimer. So this is not financial advice for you to buy or sell Telenor. It's just me telling you a little bit about the company, trying to see, show you some of the weaknesses, hopefully some of the strengths. And one of the things I mainly do look at is presentations, yearly reports, and yeah, sometimes some analysis as well. Well, actually every time. And yeah, I would like to say thanks for all the comments that I'm getting. I hope that I help with this. I'm trying the fair value for the first time. I'm not a big fan of adding a fair value because I don't really want anyone to buy or sell based on these analysis. I just want people to know a company. Leave a like if you like it, and leave a comment if you have some questions. If I can't answer it, probably someone else that watches the video can. So, cheers!